Vodafone presents the pre-match.
That's right, it's the Vodafone pre-match time. As the first games are out the way, we move on a little bit further. But this time we're going over to Group B. It's not the best of threes just yet. I was getting ahead of myself there before. We're going into the next best of one, and it's going to be Winstrike going up against Runtime. Now, guys, Blair and Pimp joining me as always. This is the question mark one, right? A Winstrike we haven't seen too much from, and a Runtime that's given us a bit of a blast from the past, mixed in with a bit of the new guys at the same time.
This is the game I'm looking the most forward to today, honestly speaking. I mean, we have a best of three coming up between two winners of their games, but this one in a best of one scenario, that's going to be interesting because, as you said, there's a lot of names that you know. Just listing up some of the name right here, we got Starix on the team, we got Hooch, we got Seized. On the other one, we got World Edit and Waylander. 5 players that for themselves, you know, been at plenty of majors, been at plenty of big tournaments, and actually won some of those tournaments as well, you know. So this is a stacked lineup for both teams, you know, in terms of the names, but do they still have the level to be on this level? That's the question.
That is true. I completely agree with you. And if you look at just the names like you mentioned, right? Starix, Hooch, these guys have been playing CS for such a long time indeed. It's great to see Starix back, you know, with the mouse in his hand, not just standing behind his team. We got Seized as well. He has a lot to prove as well, right? I mean, he's been tossed around from team to team for a while now, and he obviously would be, he's one of the younger, more experienced players. But I want to really like take a look at the other 2 players in that team. Like, I think Norbert was the one player who's really stood up and made a name for himself in that lineup. So it's going to be great to see them. Winstrike, on the other hand, we have interesting thing about his team. Like, I think it was in September when everyone in the team got kicked and Boomich is the only one remaining, and then they got Quick back, and then of course we got the flip side boys. We got World Edit and Waylander, and sorry, Norbert was actually the name from Winstrike, which I wanted to talk about. But he's been kind of the standout player. Yeah, you might talk about World Edit and everyone else in the lineup, but Norbert has really surprised me, at least with his stats in the recent games they've had.
All right, well, let's see exactly how this is going to go. It's going to be getting into that veto nice and fast, guys. Any particular idea? Because with the Runtime lineup especially, it's literally like a shot in the dark. Yeah,
it seems to me like Cash is not going to be played for whatever reason. And you're right, Nuke not going to be played either. I think it's going to be the same sentiment as we talked about in the first game. You want to find a middle ground map. You want to find a map where both teams feel comfortable. And you don't want to
everyone hates Nuke so much that they banned it twice right there.
They're like, yep, get rid of it forever, for good. No more Nuke at all.
No more Nuke.
Slight miscommunication that it will surely be cleared up in a second. But either way, these 2 lineups, it is a very difficult scenario to look at in terms of where their actual veto goes here.
I personally think it's going to be, like I said earlier in the previous game as well, I think it's going to be kind of like a middle ground map, so to speak, right? I'd be a little surprised, but I'm sorry, not too surprised to see a Dust2 come out here, or maybe even a Mirage make its appearance. I think it's going to come down to that, because if you look at most of these maps, like I said, there's not much to really look into these 2 lineups. So if you're talking about Winstrike as well, they're a comparatively new team as well. Even if you look at the games they've played recently, there's no, like, apart from the default perma bans, there's no, like, you know, pattern, so to speak, in the way they're playing about it. And there we go, Dust2. Whoop-de-doo.
Ooh, an interesting one, though. Not a map that a lot of teams still pick into. We're starting to see maybe add to the map pools a little bit more here. Are we just going to see an all-out kind of blast from the past, rolling back the years, glory fight on Dust2?
Starix with the op-out again. Yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
That'll be fun, you know, holding off Catwalk. I think Dust2 is a great map for the CIS region in general. So goes for Mirage. I think those 2 maps are maps that favors, you know, the way they play. It's very aggressive. It's very, you know, momentum-based. It's very, you know, feeling-based in a way. If one of the players on the server feel, all right, I have a frag here, I have an opportunity to go for a play, he will do it because you have the confidence to do so. And they're not as structured as many European teams or many American teams are. So that should make for a good Dust2 game, and that should make for a brawl fight, a fist fight, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to see, you know, some of these old names get in on the server and actually battle it out. I'm looking forward to see World Edit. He used to be a very, very good player, to be completely honest. I played plenty of times against him. He's great with AVP. Seized used to be a player that played in Navi, and he was doing well, you know, at the big major tournaments. So those 2 players are 2 you have to look out for.
Well, guys, it's time to get into the game. We're wrapping up this nice and fast. It's time to go back to Jason and Tom. So, guys, take it away. And what are you going to make of this crazy blast from the past?
It's honestly going to be great to see. I am so excited to actually see Starix come back and playing after coaching for such a long time. Even Seized in there, and Hooch, for me, is one of my favorite players.
It's like you never left, basically.
Basically.
We brought back a few teams just to make you feel at home. That's sort of what it is. It's like, oh, I know that guy. I don't remember him. Like,
also, I do want to say, for all the viewers out there, and for Banks in particular, he's actually not on a box. He's not smaller than it actually seems. He's not, you know, really
How small would I have to Blair, sorry. No, I'm joking.
Well, Blair actually is here on the desk. You just can't see him because he's too short to be seen over the desk. But no, this is going to be a great game, honestly. And this is one of the highlight matches, actually, for me for today. And well, ideally for this group. Because for me, seeing that core of those three players, Seas, Starks, and Hooch, come together into a team is going to be fantastic. And then Waylander and World Edit, you already talked about World Edit before. He is an insane player. And you think he's definitely going to be top 5 on the HLTV rankings. Yeah. That's what you said, right?
No, I said electronic.
There's an E in there. It counts, right? Okay, well, World Edit still is a fantastic player, fantastic opper.
Oh, Jesus. That would be a surprise. But you never know. You never know. They're not out yet. We can't predict it. Either way, Hooch gonna have a lot of players pushing his way. The smokes have gone down. They will be able to cross. Nice start from Boomage as well to find that opening pick. The push through the smoke comes back, Nor, but can't quite hit the shots, and the trades are coming back in. But it's still the T's out on top at the moment. We are going to have the rotation from Waylander as well. Perfectly timed to leave it all onto Scooby. And what will Scooby do? It was coming, wasn't it? Get out of the way in the first round.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I just think you did it a little too early.
I know, but
yeah, you had so many more rounds to use that one. But don't worry, we got more to go from that one. I'm excited though to see like runtime in general as we see this pistol round ideally come to a close here for Winstrike, because they have such a strong core team. And the thing is, you have Seas who can technically call, you have Hooch who can technically call, but they put it on the back of Starks, who's been the coach for Navi since forever, basically, since he basically stopped becoming a player. So they have a strong core, a strong team, but have they had the time they needed to come together and be able to pull off a victory and pull off a potential major berth? That's something we're obviously going to be asking about as time does go on.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird one of almost like, will it be too many cooks? Like they can spoil the brew, because there's so many people in that team that can realistically have their own opinions and have their own things. Will just like Starks just rule with an iron fist and just be like, look, you're doing what I say, end of? Or is there going to be like different people inputting? Like I asked him and he said it's just me. Like there's like, it is just me. So I'm going to be interested to see if there are going to be a few rounds where we go, he doesn't look like he's going to plan, or he's making his own choices. On the other side, of course, Boomage could be the one in game lead, and also sort of the man that I look to put up a lot of the frags. Obviously, a little bit different now. We have World Edit and Waylander in. I think World Edit with the AWP is going to be the man making a lot of the plays, and of course the youngster of Norbert as well. Who, again, when you see youngsters in teams like this, teams that have managed to do damage in the past, you kind of expect them to be, well, performing. And for Winstrike especially, like they brought in two sort of very well-versed players, alongside two players who managed to surprise everybody by getting top 8 major, that they went all the way through the minor process. So yeah, he's got a lot to live up to, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
What's cool to me is to see, like, even though there was, about like a 3-year period that I wasn't casting Counter-Strike, it's nice to see in those 3 years so many new players, so many young new players coming up. Because obviously when CS came out, you had a lot of the old guard from 1.6 and Source come in and play, right? But the fact that the time has gone so long now that you're starting to see those other players catch up and start to really surprise. Yeah. And, in a couple of years from now, we might see a massive overturn in terms of who are the top players in the world at the moment.
Well, yeah, I think, like, you do look at players like, for example, Electronic. You look at Twist as well, who's, like, right up there in the sort of top 20 list at the moment of players who've just, over the last couple of years, have developed massively to be some of the best players in the world. And you never know, we may be looking at some of the future best. Like, we know that eventually Na'Vi, well, Gambit are definitely already in the sort of movement of, like, completely overhauling their roster, but eventually Na'Vi will make a change, and there's going to have to be someone to come up to it.
True. Well, here we go, coming into our third round, the first gun round here for both these two teams. Still the ump picked up here for Boomage, and then the scout as well for World Edit. Runtime, they don't really have that much head armor, so Boomage could go off pretty well here. Was able to couch him out, but again, keeping their composure, slowing the pace down. I think with what's on the line here for these teams, I mean, as we just saw Gambit or to be knocked into the elimination match of Group A, you want to start off strong and you want to start off well.
Well, the other thing is as well, this group is pretty stacked. Like, I think Prosto could definitely be a team to do some damage, and of course you got Avantgar as well, who are arguably the favorites. So this game is pretty crucial, because no matter who you face next, okay, Prosto could arguably be an easier game, but they're also a much longer standing roster than either of these teams. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. But Scooby, nice start, but Boomage will be there to trade and even retrieves a rifle as he goes. Of course, a bit more of a bonus round coming in for the T side, as they do still have the cash to buy into the next round if everything goes wrong. I'm sort of looking at Starix here because he needs to help. It's only going to be seized in the site, looking to try and be the anchor, and Boomage will finish him off as well. But the trades have come in for the CT side. Even still, the B site of this map, pretty damn difficult to retake.
No utility, though, for the side of Winstrike here. But I can say the same thing about Runtime. It's going to come down to this raw aim. If the refract can happen here, it'd be massive for Runtime. But Quick gets the kill, and just like his name, quickly gets out of that tunnel position to rotate back in towards door. Stark's going to be coming in at the same time as Hooch, and Hooch is going to get one. He's going to need to get the second over towards Car. Can he take Quick down? And no! Quick will come up big. Gets 3 frags in that round and keeps Winstrike on a winning streak.
That's another one that had to come in eventually, didn't it? Great work from Quick in that situation. Obviously, again, he's one of the players who did pull off that sort of legendary run that surprised everybody not too long ago. Obviously, in the previous major, didn't do anywhere near as much damage. And yeah, that's why we've seen all the changes that have come in with this roster, a complete turnaround, and even he himself wasn't in the original plans of Winstrike, but he's going to be here now and doing the damage early on. Obviously up against another Lithuanian in Kalinka, one of his ex-teammates as well, so there might be a little bit of rivalry there alongside the sort of brotherly love, but we are going to be watching, at least in this round, Runtime, nada. Pretty much nothing invested, just a few pistols. They're going to get max loss bonus in the next round, so have a full purchase, potentially an AWP or 2 coming into play. Almost expected on this map. I don't think you really play this map without an AWP. That'd be a big, big surprise, but we're just going to have the T-side cleaning out the angles, but taking a bit of extra damage. Is the Molotov actually going to clear out the position of Hooch? No, but that one will. And yeah, a little bit of trouble for him, and the remaining 2 players don't really have a leg to stand on here. The best hope is just to maybe hit a cheeky deagle. Obviously, Scooby has invested a bit more than anybody else, but he's just going to be on the other side of the map looking to keep his Kevlar and his trusty Deeg.
I wonder if Winstrike's even going to go for the chase on this too, because their economy isn't that stable at the moment either. Quick at 5,800, you have rolled it at 400 because they did invest the AWP over to him. And they're not really going to care. I mean, yeah, it's a pistol. Not that big of a deal to chase down so far here. Some early stats coming in as well. You can see Quick, 171 ADR. Not bad.
If he keeps that up, they'll win. I'm pretty certain of that.
Bold predictions here from Tom on the desk.
That's big boy ADR, but a nice shot from Scooby. He's actually net him an AK. Now, obviously, the T's, as you sort of mentioned, there was no need at all to hunt the weapons there. And, the only sort of reason I can scrape is maybe a slight confidence boost, or if you thought, hey, he's not pushing us, he must have something. But other than that, it's sort of like they've lost an AK. 4 players alive, it's not so much of a problem as their economy now will be bolstered anyway. But this is where the big buy comes in for the CT side. Already, you can see there's 2 AWPs in play at the moment. One of them is maybe in the hands of Seize, the other on Kalinka, so potentially going to be on other sides of the map. And I imagine one of them may just be used to sort of home in onto middle, try and gain a little bit of more control, because they did have a bit of trouble in the earlier rounds where the push down mid was actually the problem.
And we are seeing the double up set up here out of Runtime with Seize going to be the one to pick up the other one for his team with Kalinka onto the side. Seize will open things up on a roll edit. So that's the AWP out of Winstrike now down in middle. A big frag coming in for Runtime, and definitely at a perfect time for it to happen considering they're down 4-0 so far in this best of 1.
Yeah, this is also a map that I feel like momentum is probably one of the biggest factors sort of available to them. So, like, you are just going to see rounds run and run and run, especially if the economy starts to play a part. So I think it's important for Runtime to get off to a big start. Otherwise, Winstrike may just completely run over them. But as you said, they've got the opening pick. Waylander's even taken a little bit of extra damage, and by the looks of things, they may try and split their way in on towards this A site. The problem is they haven't really gained any map control or even any information. The only thing they saw was the man that killed them initially, and even he's fallen back into a passive B hold. And now, as the push looks to come in, so far they haven't cleared a single angle.
Time is starting to run thin too. 35 seconds left to go. And they're going to have to hit in towards a Seize site, but they're going to run into so many people to actually stop them from getting this bomb down. Now the Molotov comes in. Boomage does drop down towards CT. Kalika's gonna miss that shot, which cost him his life, but Stark's gonna be there. Return back onto one. They've lost the op still, and Waylander comes in big with a fantastic kill. 19 seconds left to go. The flank coming in from Quick from behind, but it's gonna be a little bit too slow, and Hooch gonna take Waylander down, and now it's gonna be Quick all alone against two. The hardest part is he has to cross with only one smoke.
He actually does manage to find the pick. The problem is he doesn't have time. Absolutely none, so they will just have to try and save this AWP. But that's a hell of a lot of damage, and more importantly, there is no way in hell there's going to be a double op setup. That is...
Why would you re-peek that?
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. I guess the idea was to hope to take the AWP away, but that is a massive risk and a small reward, really, for the CT side. As said, they can. I think they can have a glass cannon AWP, but that's about it. And that was sort of the big play that they saved everything for. Go for the double AWPs, try and bring it in, and they scraped the round.
Well, here we go into round number 6 of our second match of today. Still have a best of 3 to come up after this, which I believe it's the winner's match of Group A. C is going to be on the FAMAS here over towards the B site. Scooby there in tow as well, and a big 3-man stack at a runtime off the bat here to get that initial long control, but they haven't really left a player over towards Pit. So it seems like they want to make sure to focus towards Catwalk for a quick rotate in towards this B side. And as we can see, it looks like a B hit will be coming in with a nice 3-2 split.
It's the same problem they had before. The peak coming in, but Seized has managed to find the opener and drop the bomb. More importantly, that's left into the open, but the trade's coming out and Seized running in with his knife. Definitely not what you want to be doing. This is a slaughter into mid. And, well, we spoke about how much damage was done in the previous round, how only one man survived as they win. Now they've got one man trying to just hold on to what he got, and you can see Winstrike, they're straight on the hunt, and in this situation, don't blame them at all.
Yeah, we're going to see a quick little rotate come in back towards T-spawn. The last runtime player, it's going to be Hooch up against 4, just trying to keep his weapon. Not even looking the right angle, technically, as we can see on the mini-map, looking over towards down mid from Suicide.
I think he's heard all the footsteps though, yeah. That'll be a fairly simplistic kill in the end, obviously using the wall to his advantage, but they do now know where he is. I think the time should just be able to get away from them to save that extra weapon. And actually, to be fair to the T side, they're not overly hunting here. They want to keep 3 players alive, make sure they're still making a little bit of money going into the next round. And they know that no matter what happens here, their economy is going to be absolutely wrecked. I'm guessing C's just completely ran out of bullets there with the spray from the FAMAS, and that's why I was running him with a knife. Didn't just go for a full YOLO play in one of the most important rounds at the beginning. Simple. Yeah, you know, not everyone can do that.
Yeah, that's true. That is probably why he's one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. I don't think it really takes a genius to know who the #1 player of 2018 was going to be when we get down to it for the HLTV rankings. But I think for me, what's kind of not disappointing, but I want to see change a little bit as this match goes on, is that Hooch, at least back then, he used to be a very loud player. He used to have a lot of emotion, and whenever they would win a round, he would get so excited, and that energy would flow through the team, and it would help keep the mentality and you know, the emotions high in a positive note for them. So I wonder if he's actually being a little bit quieter. I can't hear him just yet, but then again, they've only won 1 round. But I want to see him really start to step up for his team and help them stay focused in this match, because things are not looking good. It looks like Winstrike's going to be off to a 6-1 start.
Yeah, and I think as well the way that they won the round was not really anything to like scream about. Oh, wow.
Just a quick little update for you, if you want to take that away, Tom.
Yeah, Avangard are doing quite well at the moment over in their game versus Prosto. It is 11-1. I am going to be
just
very
like Buster
impressed.
score, 11-1, only 1 death.
And they are just running over their opponents. That is ridiculous. And, well, I was saying that whichever team comes up against, I did say Prosto, which I probably shouldn't have done considering the game hasn't finished. But whoever does come up against them might have a bit more competition, but so far they haven't looked like it. Either that or Avangard really are just in their element. But either way, at the moment, 6-1 as well for Winstrike. They're looking very good at the moment, and even still, there's no buy coming back in for runtime just yet, even after the eco round in the previous. So again, they're just going to have to save, go in for some pistols, and look at the money starting to build up. You got Boomage with 9,500 in the bank, only 1 player below 5,000 after what is just 7 rounds. So yeah, Winstrike looking pretty damn good at the moment.
And the weird thing is that World Edit, he's only on 2 frags, but it's not necessarily because, like, oh, he's not playing well. It's because he hasn't needed to really step up for his team, because Boomage is actually the one doing it. 11-2, you have Quick as well at 10-2. Waylander and World Edit, the 2 we looked at as being, you know, like the staple of the team, are actually being relatively the quietest ones so far. But again, not necessarily a bad thing. It just shows how well and how confident everyone else is playing on the team.
Well, let's be honest. There was a reason they were building a team around this map. It's just facts. If you're clearing out your roster, you're going to change everything, and you're like, you know what? I want this guy. There's got to be a reason for it. And he always was the sort of staple when it came to like the major run that they had. And yeah, definitely a good decision so far. Orbit as well, going to win himself that initial join. A lot of damage done onto Boomage on the cross, but the fact is they've still managed to make it to the site, and it's just going to be onto the rotations, trying to catch off some of these players, steal a weapon away, bolster the economy of the CT side a little bit, and Scooby will start off quite well, at least by removing an AK, and actually there's nobody left to defend it, so that's going to be an easy pickup for Hooch, and he could just leave.
Thing is, I look at the scoreline, you know, Tom, and I'm like, oh, well, this is not going well for Runtime. This is going to have a really, you know, rough game ahead of them. But then I think back to the match we literally just did, with Spirit up against Nemiga, and that was a 9-2 scoreline. So you really can't count Runtime out after seeing Nemiga have such a fantastic performance and a fantastic job to push it into overtime.
Yeah, the only problem I have is with this map is I feel like it is one of the most momentum, if not the most momentum-based map in the pool at the moment, where a team just gets on a run of rounds, they build up the economy they have with the orbs, they can make those ridiculous plays towards the end of the half where they're just like having a sort of like shooting gallery down mid if they want, and that's where the game just gets completely out of control, and it's very hard, especially on the CT side, to break into that, because a lot of time the things you want to do, bring in a double up setup, well, you gotta have finances to be able to do that. Right. Now, Runtime, I'm guessing they may have done that again now because they were saving a lot of money over the last couple of rounds. Actually only gone for one. It's going to be onto Kalinka. Sees, that's got to be painful. Hit through the door down mid, well did it. He may not be getting all the frags, but he is still having impact.
The thing is, even though it's 100% win rate so far here for Runtime, I mean 100% 4 maps, they're up against 67% for 9 maps for Winstrike. And I would have thought that this was going to be a map that favored Runtime just for the fact that it's one of the most puggiest maps out there, and for a team that kind of has just come together right before the minor, right before the qualifiers, I feel like it would favor them a little bit in terms of being an easier map for them to play, but Winstrike is just completely proving me wrong.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like, it's one of those maps that is sort of very puggy, but when I look at a lot of the players on their team, I wouldn't say they've got the puggiest team in the world. I would look at players like Starix and Hooch and say, you know what, I'm not expecting them to like put up like 30 frags a game. Like Starix in some of the qualifiers has played very, very well, but obviously the further you get, the more difficult it's going to get to play like that. Either way, Kalinka is here on the cross, does start things off. There should be a trade available, and actually Boomage goes for more, but he will be stopped by Hooch, and the trades at the moment at least coming in favor of this CT side.
World Edit's going to be on site as well. The big player here is going to be Norbert, who's on the flank. I think actually players already look in his direction, but not in the right position to spot him coming out of mid-doors. The bomb's going to be planted here. I'm surprised World Edit's feeling confident enough to go for this. I guess because they did come in through catwalking with Norbert here. He's able to make something happen. It's going to be all on Starks. Now, you talked about him playing well in the qualifiers, but can he hit this shot up against World Edit, who's actually pushed up towards short? He drops in towards CT. Actually might be able to catch him from behind. He's going to spot him out. Can he hit the shots? No! World Edit just barely gets around the corner in time. And speaking of time, it's going to start taking away here now. Starks going to pick up the incendiary grenade. Thing is, it's planted towards short, if I'm not mistaken. So World Edit's not really going to have an angle on it. Now down to 4 HP. How many shots is it going to take to get to the center of World Edit here? Ooh. That nade's not even enough to finish him off here. But he's going to be no kit. There is a kit for Starks, but he's not going to have time. But he at least gets the frag. That's some compensation. But that could have been his round. If he caught him at CT spawn and hit the headshot, that could have been a different round completely.
But the thing is that, like, for Starks, there was so many sort of, like, most messy mistakes. Like, looking to pick up the grenades and, running in. Obviously, he didn't realize where the plant was. I can forgive him for that. Like, if you see a player playing, like, running towards long, you're going to assume the bomb's planted for long. He had so much time to plant it. So I can forgive him for that one. But just those little bits of time that were wasted, if he then gets to the site and realizes, okay, it's planted for short, he wins. So, yeah, a little bit of bad luck. But realistically, at this point, 8-1, still plenty of money for the T side. They're not going to be worrying at all about losing all of their players. And really, again, the focus comes in onto one individual play. Norbert, that double kill from CT, fantastic.
And again, timing is such a big factor because there was a player checking that angle, but he got out at the perfect moment, so he wasn't seen crossing. And Norbert, who is doing pretty well currently at 8 and 6, I believe.
Maybe 7 now.
Yeah, commentators curse, as we like to say. And Seized has done this exact same thing before, opening up with an initial frag. But even with the man advantage, they need to hold on to this. Hooch is going to be left to his own devices here towards long A. And he's just going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah, he needs some support, and he needs it quick. Boomage already going to be tagged quite low, and Hooch doing a good job of staying alive, but it won't last long whatsoever. And they're going to look to go through the smoke. That's risky, but Waylander, fantastic trade back through. Leaves it into a 3 versus 3. That early frag found by Seized is now somewhat worthless. And, well, this comes down to a situation where Runtime can't allow this to go to a retake. They're currently playing with 2 AWPs and a FAMAS. Definitely not ideal. The one FAMAS is currently alone over onto the B site as well, so if Scooby loses this battle, it's going to be a double AWP retake for Runtime.
There we go, smoke comes in. Molotov as well being thrown. Flashbang going to buy him a little bit of time. Rotation has come in out of C's, who's going to be over towards window. I don't know if he's going to have the best of angles to hit a shot as they come through with the smoke. Woda as well going to get tagged up here. He has the AWP. Waylander's going to get that one, and Kalinka over towards CT spawn picks up Boomage. 10 seconds left to go. They have to pick up the pace, and Kalinka gets himself another, and now it's just on World Edit. The double up, well, retake doesn't even happen because Kalinka picks up 3, and Runtime finally get another round on the board.
Yeah, no, I think I'm hoping we'll have some sort of replay of his kills at some point, because that was 3 kills just players crossing the door, which is not an easy thing to do by any stretch of the imagination. So great work from Kalinka. They keep both AWPs in play as well going into the next round. The interesting thing for me will be, do we now see Winstrike pick up the pace? Because that is basically the main counter to a double AWP setup is, let's just go running in, let's try and just counter these AWP players. Either that or they just leave World Edit to try and finish them off. But CT side, they've gambled correctly here. 3 players towards long. It's going to be an all-out brawl. Norbert will trade the initial one. And actually, the remaining players on the CT side just look to fall back. They don't support Starks. They're just like, you've got this.
We believe in you, buddy. Well, World Ed's going to take 1 op out of the equation. Kalinka will fall. And again, minute 20 left to go. You have the man advantage. There's no need to invest into this push in towards A just yet. We're seeing Scooby being left over towards the B site. Hooch going to be over towards short, and they're slowly making their way through. And considering no one's checking on Runtime, maybe they could potentially sell sort of fake. But with that smoke going through, C's going to get naded up and spammed down. And they will lose the second op that the team did pick up. And now Hooch has to get these kills. Doesn't even have a chance. Whaler just sprays down, and now Scooby all alone against 4 other players.
This is ambitious. Waylander's just popping heads. I have to say, like, we've definitely seen it before at the majors where, well, even both of these teams, that's the thing, they've managed to combine 2 teams that pulled off ridiculous things at the major. Flip side, able to do it so many times where we were looking at the team going into the major and going, they won't do it, until it got to a point where everybody going, they'll do it because they do it every time. And then with the same from QB Fire. Now you've combined those 2 teams, added a youngster, and they seem to be doing it again because Waylander, again, is a player that we haven't seen too much from recently. I think he got 2 kills there, either through smoke or like through the edge of something, and then just runs into the site and pops the head of a player jumping up and down.
Yeah, really well done by that by Waylander. And I still think back to when it was like him and Waterfalls on Peter. Actually, I think it was him, Waterfalls, and Hooch, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember if that's the team that was all together, but they played flawlessly back then. Of course, that was 2015, so it was a long, long time ago.
I was only 7.
Only 7, but about the same height. Just hasn't grown since then.
That's true. I needed a few extra boxes back then.
We'll get Blood to bend over and you can stand on his back or something. Maybe put us at the right height.
I was about to say, that won't put me up that much.
Anyways, we'll let him get away with this one because we're going to see a Eco come in out of Runtime. Just a P250 out of Scooby. Not really expecting too much, especially with the bomb being planted here.
Yeah, I think this just pretty much falls into a let's try and get someone on the exit, but realistically, a chance for a little bit of stat padding to come in from Winstrike. Not that they particularly need it. Things are going very, very well at the moment, and Runtime have sort of had the worst possible scenario. It's one of those games where you're like, okay, we're on the board, and then they get absolutely obliterated, and then again, they get on the board, and they get absolutely obliterated, and you sort of just sat there going, they've never really been in this game. They've never had a string of rounds together. It's just been multiple sort of resets, and that's a horrible, horrible position to be in. And while now we're looking at another potentially flawless round coming in for the T side, and this is sort of the reward. You lose a round, you win the next, you reset them, you beat the force spike, then you get a freebie round to just make all the money back that you lost.
Intended.
Wouldn't go that far, but...
No, I'm calling it. They purposely lost the round before. So they would just reset them.
Next level meta game coming in.
Well, 10-2 now here for Winstrike, who honestly seems to be in no sign of stopping at this rate. It's really all on the court here of Runtime to change things up, which they are doing. Instead of going for a long A hold, they're actually pushing a couple players in towards short to get that middle control, which they actually might be able to capitalize off of. The problem is they still have Quick to worry about, and they still have World Edit lurking in Suicide here. And World Edit, again, to pick up another frag. Yeah, they only has 6, but has 6 big ones, especially thinking back to the round up against Starix in that 1v1.
Yeah, the other thing as well in this situation is just him finding the info. Because otherwise, Quick probably gets killed from behind and the round just spirals out of control. The problem is, for Runtime in this round, they didn't really have much to play with. It's a buy, but it was never a good one. They had a Scout, which they still have currently on Kalinka, SMGs, and no real rifles. Hooch with a chance, but nothing really coming of it. Kalinka and just doors seems to be like the best combination he has at the moment, just able to find frags through them all the time. The fact is, though, just the positional play, Norbert playing that lurk role always seems to catch off one. And now Kalinka's, well, you know it's bad when you're sort of in a horrible spot and you're looking to save a gun. He has managed to pick up an AWP, but Quick, his Lithuanian counterpart, ready and waiting.
All right, so 11-2. Winstrike looking to do what their name says, pick up a big victory here and go on to play against the winner of Avangard.
I thought they were going to go on strike for a second.
No, we're not. Well, as Banks found out, we're not an airline company right now.
Do you want to say which one?
Nope. I don't want to be like flying home from Poland. Yeah, sir, your flight's been. You're actually not on the flight
You've been downgraded to like
cargo hold.
Yeah, cargo.
Yeah. At least I'll make sure my luggage makes it that way. So we're just going to be pushing into pit here again, back on pistols. Going to be dropped really quickly here, and again, it looks like Winstrike should be able to pick up this round relatively easily. There we go. Norbert gets the spray through on the Starks. I swear, Banks has one of the worst lucks when it comes to flying anywhere.
Then again, you say that, he always seems to have seats spare. Like, whenever he posts a picture of him on a flight, there's always, like, 2 seats spare next to him.
Just because no one wants to sit next to him.
It might be that. They just go, can I get a different seat? I don't want to get on the plane.
Well, here we go. A minute left to finish off this round here for Winstrike. Just slowly making their way through. Again, I mean, I talked about this before in our last match. I do like the slower kind of style like this, even if you know they're on eco, you know you have a man advantage. With what's on the line here for these teams, you know, getting through into the major potentially, there's no need to throw away any rounds. There's no need to throw away any guns. There's no need to give the other team an opportunity to get back into the match. So definitely credit for me out of Winstrike. It looks like we're about 12-2 here and potentially 13-2 first half.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to question if Scooby might have got the majority of his kills actually with a pistol. He's currently sat on 4. I'm pretty sure I've seen him get at least 2 kills with the Deagle, and he just got one with the P250. So I wonder if he's actually had a kill in a round with rifles, which is horrifying to even think about.
Well, at the same time, how many rounds have they actually had rifles out of the 14?
That is also a big problem.
Yeah.
I'm interested. How's the Avangard game going? It's probably not the best time to check. 12-5. Comeback. Comeback is on.
So, yeah, 11-1 to 12-5 now.
Well, seized. Again, managing to find an opener. He's been good at winning the duels, and that's a little bit better from him. 3 kills over towards the B site. Bomb dropped on the floor, and this time the B site is closed for business. It's looking like Runtime will be able to steal away around right at the end. The fact is that they've still got World Edit. They've still got Quick to deal with. He's managed. How has that happened? How has that happened? Hooch has been completely bamboozled. I'm guessing he was sat in the corner over towards blue and just let him pass. Oh, this is just fantastic. Obviously, it's a 1v5.
You know he's not going to turn. There's no way. But the thing is, he didn't see Hooch either, did he?
Go on, knife him. Do it. Yes, this is what we want. Don't
Welcome back to CIS, Starks! No. Sorry, that's insane in his head.
Yeah, very quick exit from that one, either way. He's actually managed to make this a little bit interesting, but finally Scooby will put him down. And yeah, that's just got to be painful. Seized is at least having a little bit of a laugh, but it looks like an almost laugh in pain. But we'll see if they can sort of sort all of this out after a short break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the CIS Minor here in Katowice, Poland for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2019 Major, just right around the corner. And if you just joined us, you missed out on an exciting first half, I'd still say, with Winstrike leading 12-3 against Runtime here on Dust2.
Yeah, this has been a decent performance coming out from Winstrike, has to be said, but we never really got to see much from Runtime because of the way that the sort of rounds went. You can just look at it, 4, then they managed to win 1, then lost straight away, and lost another 4, then another 1. Oh, then look, another 4. And it was just the same all the way through. It's a beautiful pattern. Hopefully not the one that ends the game here, because if the pattern continues, it's going to be 16-3.
It would be. Let's see, Boomage actually can be boosted up here and towards short. The push coming in very quickly over towards the B site, though. Norbert looking for these shots. Nice little movement out of Hooch to get around and actually avoid those. Flashbang comes in, and actually, Waylander is going to push through doors. No kills coming in, surprisingly, considering how explosive this round's been so far. But finally, Boomage comes in with the first. They actually have a flanking from behind. That's going to be quick and gets the first on the Kalinka. He will finally fall. Tunnel's now clear. So the damage has been done. It's going to be a 3-on-2, and the bomb has yet to be planted.
It's gone. See you later, Hooch. You can hold on to the B site. We're going to sell this as a little bit of a fake. The problem is, the B site is sort of one that's very difficult to retake. The A site, not so much. So Hooch at least needs to get a kill or 2 to give his teammate a chance, and also some time, because if Hooch goes down within the next few seconds, it's a problem. But he's actually going to be able to escape as well. Maybe going to throw out a little bit of utility just to try and bait them in that they're still there, or that they're going to peek in towards the mid position. The bomb now is going to make its way through long. The problem is, if anybody turns around, they don't have a smoke. So he has to just cross this at pretty much full speed, and he has managed to avoid any eyes going his way.
It's funny, because if I'm seized in that position when I'm playing, I'm like, all right, just stay alive, Hooch, just stay alive. And then you're Hooch, you're like, well, how do I do that? There's 3 of them, and they know I'm here. In the meantime, the bomb has been put down, seized. His position has been given away. Hooch trying to look for a lurk here, like we did see Norbert do before, and Seized picks up 1. Definite opportunity that they can win this round here. It'll be a massive round, but again, Waylander's alive, and you can't count him out. The kick going to be on World Edit, who's trying to make his way in towards site, but Waylander's going to stick the defuse anyways, and that will be Winstrike taking the pistol round here.
It's going to take quite a while to do it, but there's no time for the rotation to come in. Bomb plant will at least give a little bit extra in the next round for Runtime, and realistically, if they save here, they will have a buy going into the next couple of rounds. The risk they could take, which I actually wouldn't mind seeing considering the situation they're in, is maybe chuck around a couple of AKs, try and get like 2 or 3 in play, and just break them here. Because you're so far behind, I feel like you have to start taking some risks.
Well, if you guys are not watching the other stream, it looks like Avantgarde have won 16-5 on Dust2, so taking their initial map victory here. So well done by them, and again, pretty much the favorites in their group, as Frosta was not able to come up. Yeah, I mean, that's what Kalinka does, right? He's better shooting through doors than he is shooting out in the open.
Yeah, he's a talented man, but either way, it is going to be that investment that I spoke about. The AK's purchased up for Runtime as they try and break their opponents early. Now the Scout and the SMG is what has been lost so far. So on the other side is all the rifles left for the CTs, and quite a bit of damage done, at least onto C's. Now he's going to be handed the Scout. Obviously the idea there, give the rifle to someone who's a little bit healthier, although yeah, Starks doesn't actually have any armor, so there's still going to be some limitations in the purchase here. Plenty of time left for them to play with, and we do now see a little bit of a push coming in on towards that top mid spot. But if they go into long, obviously they'll be met by Boomage, and if they hit towards short, Wild Edit is the man waiting, so plenty of players left still to clear, and Winstrike definitely aren't out of this one just yet.
They do have at least a smoke and a couple of flashes to go for the retake if they do need it. So looks like a smoke going to come in to fake a push in towards B. Linka needs to hit this shot onto World Edit to have a chance here to take this with relative ease. 30 seconds left to go. The call's been made. They know they're coming in towards the safe side. Spray comes down through the smoke. He's not going to catch one finally on a Starks, as Kalinka's actually getting his head taken off as well. World Edit's still alive. He has backup from his teammate Boomage there as well. Boomage is going to fall Scooby. Picks up the first. He has 15 seconds left to go, and Winstrike looks like they're just trying to play the time here.
Scooby manages to find and gets the second as well. Great clear. For God's sake.
Sorry, I was so disappointed myself. I had to punch the desk. And this is a really well-built, hard desk.
Is that more props go in the way of ESL? It's like, well done, you've made a good desk.
Yeah, good job. It's thick, you know? 2 Cs.
Either way, that is actually the reset round. The great work coming in from Scooby to actually save them in that situation, and well, yeah, there's just going to be some pistols. Another eco will probably come in the next round as well for Winstrike, because you can already see Quick doesn't have the cash, and the rest of the team are only going to get $1,900 added in anyway. So this is a real chance for Runtime to actually build into this a little bit earlier, and that is the sort of the risk that they took. Obviously, if they'd lost that round, they pretty much would have been out of the map, but I think it was a necessary one.
Okay, well, Kalinka, that's not okay, because you had him behind the box and you didn't shoot him. Come on. A great shot of him to take World Edit out and, again, give him a man advantage as they push through in towards the A site. Boomage with the deagle. And, well, he had one. Starks will finally finish him off, and this should be, again, obviously another round going over to Runtime, but Hooch down to 1 HP. Not in the position he wants to be in, but it looks like Winstrike just going to save this deagle out of Quick, and Norbert going to save this Galil.
Yeah, just something a little bit extra to bring into the next round. They could potentially get Norbert to maybe pick up a bit of extra Kevlar behind it and try and do some real damage in the next. But realistically, this is just going to be a situation where they're ecoing again. They don't have the money to buy back, and again, they have the sort of rounds to play with. They don't have to be taking any ridiculous risks. They're not in the same situation that we can see from Runtime, where they have to sort of go for these purchases. And yeah, we're just going to be looking to see if they can do any more damage going into the following rounds, because, well, the T's obviously want to make sure that if they do eventually lose a round, they still have plenty of money to actually buy back in.
I mean, I don't want to count Runtime out. Like, the caliber of players they do have is insane. And I feel like, obviously, that if you're just joining us, a 13-5 scoreline doesn't really give credit to, you know, what Runtime can do with the players they do have. But again, they haven't had the most time in the world to come together as a team. Only, you know, I think a month or two, actually about 2 months ago was actually when they formed, right before the CS minors did happen. They were able to qualify, obviously, as you see them here today. But from that time since, have they been able to really come together and potentially come back from a scoreline like this?
Oh, Kalinka might be in a little bit of trouble here. He's lucky the remaining players actually don't peek behind that one. It was sort of like a leave quick to do the damage and hope that he's able to find a kill. Still, they do have that rifle sat onto Norbert, again, the young gun for this team. And even if he just picks up a kill or two more, that could really hurt them in the future if Winstrike then go on to win the next round. Obviously, we know that the next one is where the buy is coming. That's where the AWPs can come in. That's where they can invest into pretty much anything they desire. The only thing that's been bought for Norbert is that sort of extra Kevlar, and I think Quick may have done the same. Either way, he's going to be perfectly placed. That Galil sat into the corner. They're not going to expect the rifle to be there. He sprays them all down. That's a 4th kill now. He's looking for the ace to close it out. Norbert to do it all, but someone else will have to pick up the slack. The thing is, though, the remaining players actually don't have anything. They've only got the pistols. It's Waylander with the Deeg, and it seems like Starix has read the situation correctly. No, there's a man coming in behind. He needs to isolate this duel. He gets the kill. The round is back into his favor, and that's exactly what he does. Now World Edit with a glass cannon rifle. Definitely not the ideal position for him, and Starix has played the mind games and going back to A.
But even if Winstrike lose this round, the damage has been done for Runtime. Like, C's on very low money, Scooby as well. Hooch isn't necessarily as safe as he wants to be. 15 seconds left. The bomb should be planted here momentarily. And there's definitely a world where World Edit could win this round. Problem is he doesn't have a kit, and I don't remember seeing one at the start of the round either.
No, chances are there wouldn't have been much invested into this at all, so he's got to get that kill quickly. Know that Starix is on the site and has managed to do a little bit of damage. The problem is he has to be going for these headshots. He can't afford anything, and Starix, he saves them there. 4 kills for him, 4 kills for Norbert, but that was way too close for comfort considering they had a saved Galil with Kevlar, I think a Deagle with Kevlar, and then obviously the Deagle was picked up a little bit later on. This was fantastic from Norbert. The fact is he also repositioned away from the initial kill that he found. That's why they were running into the B site in the first place, to try and avoid that rifle.
I wonder what's going on through the minds here of Runtime. It's definitely not how they wanted to start the minor off. 13-6, and they've got a hell of a lot of work to still come back into this. But luckily for them, I mean, Starks, again, I think he's probably one of like the most, not questionable in a negative sense, but people are always wondering what's his performance going to be like after coaching for so long. For instance, Senya was almost even going to come in and play because I guess they couldn't field a player because of health issues. But luckily for him, I think it was Kenshiro was able to actually pick up the mouse, I guess we should say. But still, it's nice to see him come back and nice to see him still have a good head on his shoulders. Nice little 4K. He played that situation perfectly, as you pointed out, getting the 1v1 up against Waylander first, and then able to get the bomb down over towards A. But here we go, 13-6. Fallback coming in for runtime. Kalinka again with the AWP, but World Edit finally going to have an op in his hands here on the CT side.
Well, yeah, this is what Winstrike have been saving for over the last few rounds. The last was never meant to be that close. They had barely anything actually invested. Again, just a saved rifle brought in. Norbert able to do a huge amount of damage. Now they come in with the chance to pretty much set Runtime's economy straight back to 0 again, reset the counter on the dollars, and, well, that is not what we want to see for Runtime if they're going to make any sort of comeback over the next few rounds. Either way, they have managed to gain themselves some mid-control, and it does look like Quick sort of lurking around the idea of sort of like taking a bit of an angle to try and take the face into middle, but not really worth the risk. Spray through from Seized, hoping to connect the stray headshot, but as of yet isn't going to find anything, and they've got to be careful because World Edit is just going to be sat the turret up over on the car.
Boomage as well has been kind of quiet so far in this half, but he was doing fantastic when they were on that T side. Norbert currently at 20 frags and Quick at 19. There we go, push coming in towards A. I wonder if they can drop someone towards CT spawn. Actually, 2 people do drop down there. World Edit's not going to hit that first shot. Hits the second though with the no-scope. Scooby, fortunately, going to be the one to fall there, but Quick comes in massive actually from CT spawn, picks up 2 fantastic frags, and just like that, it's going to be Kalinka pretty much by himself on this A site.
That Molotov is so well placed. He's going to be tagged down to just 20 HP, knowing exactly where the bomb's going to be planted. Quick pushes in with a third in the round, retrieves an AWP to look to try and fight, and he's even going to finish it off as well. The Lithuanian just going ham at the moment, finishing this round, again doing huge amount of damage onto Runtime, and now they have this sort of question on their hands. Do we force? Do we sort of risk it all because we don't really want to be going to overtime? Or do we sort of do what I would say is the smarter thing and maybe save your cash and try and bring it in? But yeah, absolutely fantastic. I don't know who threw the Molotov as well onto Kalinka, but
I want to say it was Quick, because he was like the only one in that position to do it.
If that was him as well, that means he gets 4 kills, and one of them he sets himself up by damaging a player 80 HP while he's planting the bomb.
He just shot up from like 80 ADR up to like 110 off that round. Insane stuff out of that player. But we are going to see the force up here out of Runtime. No money left to spare here, but they do have an op out of Kalinka. He's been quiet again, I'd say. I mean, obviously on CT side, the door shots on towards B was phenomenal. And now with him and Seized with no armor at all, it means they're going to be even more of a difficult situation. Norbert, he's gone massive before. Can he do it yet again? Smoke going to come in to try and buy some time. Hooch takes down Waylander.
Yeah, he's now all alone. Like, he has to pretty much be the hero once again, and he is! That's 2 quick kills onto the site. That's not even one of the armored players. He's just looking to try and hold this B on his own, but he will fall. And that is going to be the trade back that gives the B site over. Quick looking to try and hunt down Starks. He's actually going to run into the hands of Boomage. That's so unlucky with the rotation. Leaves Scooby and Kalinka. Now bear in mind, Kalinka still doesn't have any armor. That was actually a team flash coming in. A little bit of utility as well. The 2 incendiaries could be crucial here, but Kalinka homed in on the angle. If he misses this shot, the round is pretty much over, and he does. That's going to be so difficult, but Scooby actually managing to find one. Gives them a little bit of hope. He's left in the clutch once again. Damage done, at least onto Quick, but he's got so much left to do, and the incendiary will force him off the angle. They know he has to peek in through this door if he's going to do absolutely anything, and Quick, again, is there to hold it down. It's close, but it's not enough for Runtime, and that is going to be another round on the board and a 15th for Winstrike.
Just to bring this up, by the way, Quick has 8 2+ kill rounds.
That's nuts.
Out of 21, he's got 8. That's insane. That's ridiculous. Only person close to him, actually, I say only person, you have Norbert at 5, you have Waylander at, Boomage at 5. But on the other side, you have 2s and 1s. Like, you have no one really able to step up and get these frags. Obviously, you look at the score, and yeah, you can say, all right, well, that's not too hard of a thing to figure out that they don't have that many frags, but it just shows that everyone at Winstrike's really doing fantastic so far in this series. And World Edit and Boomage able to get 2, Seized able to return onto 1. Quick passes in, and he gets himself another double. I think that's his 9th. May even get a 3rd here onto Kalinka as he's the last man alive for the hopes of Runtime to avoid being put into an elimination match. Gets the scout shot on the World Edit, but he still has 3 more here to find, Tom.
Yeah, lots still to do. But if they take too many risky peeks, there could be a bit of a problem. I don't know if he even knows that Quick is still currently sat into middle, and actually he's just going to bypass all of them. See you later. You can chill down there. I'm going to go and try and get myself the bomb plant. The problem is he's got players surrounding him, and Quick is going to finish the game as he continues on. A fantastic performance for Winstrike, and I have to say I'm quite happy for a lot of these players. I know that after the last major performance, like speaking to Quick, obviously everybody was quite demoralized after what was expected of them. They now come back into the minor here, and they have shown they're definitely here to play. They dominated that match.
The thing is, coming into this with the vacation everyone had, the time off they've had from obviously like the Christmas holidays, we wonder like what kind of form our team is going to be coming into this. A lot of the teams have only had about 9 days to actually practice, and obviously a team like Winstrike, who has such a longer history, the Runtime have been able to kind of maintain that form as time's gone on. But guys, that's enough from us here on the desk. Let's head over to the analysis desk with the Bank Street boys.
Thank you very much, Jason and Tom. Now, a game that was very one-sided throughout that, guys. Runtime didn't show us their rule. We saw Starks continue on a bit of that form, kind of what we saw throughout the qualifying stages. But really, there was just dominance coming out of the Winstrike boys.
I think we're allowed to be a little bit disappointed by the performance of Runtime. I think they have the players on the team that justifies them to play better. I think CIS, you know, not to point fingers at anyone, but I think the whole, obviously, team did not work out the way they wanted to, but they didn't have any players taking any responsibility at any point throughout the game. There was no, you know, leading figure within the team. CIS would be one of the guys you would look towards, you know, can you pick up the AVP? Can you go for some aggressive plays? Try to give us some advantageous situations, but he didn't do that, you know, at least not with success. So I think it's a little bit disappointing to see they didn't have more to offer in a game where I think Winstrike played a well executed Counter-Strike game.
Absolutely. And just to add on to what he just mentioned right now would be the fact that, look, I get it. It's coming down to a map like Dust2 where we talk about momentum, we talk about it being a puggy map and whatnot, but there are so many rounds where on the T side especially, it was just disappointing to see them having so many holes in the way they were approaching the bomb sites. Like, for example, they just gave so much map control over to their opponents, to Winstrike. And Winstrike, firstly, they were hitting all the shots. Quick and Norbert were like just destroying them. I mean, Wollet as well had a pretty great time. Boomich as well. Everyone's hitting the shots, and the thing is, they didn't make their lives hard at all. It was so easy the way Winstrike were winning those games. Sure, they won that their 1v3 clutch, which Scooby managed to pull off. That managed to get them, net them a few more rounds here and there. Winstrike were never close to like being out of the game. They just like eco for a couple of rounds, got back in, and just closed it out.
Well, they certainly did close out. We're going to take a look at the bracket of how it looks now as we see these best of ones get underway. So Winstrike will be going up against Avangard in their best of 3, and then we're going to see Runtime versus Pro 100 on the other side of things in that lower bracket.
It's going to be a very interesting game, you know, Winstrike going up against Avangard, because they won their first game pretty convincingly as well, 16-5 if I'm not mistaken, as we just saw in the bracket. And Avangard, we know the quantities of those, right? That's a great team. That's a team we expect to qualify for the major. It's one of the heavy favorites coming into this one, whereas Winstrike, we just saw them absolutely dismantle, I would say, you know, a Runtime that should be playing better than this, you know, but there were some individual players, as you were mentioning, that showed up, you know, at a very high level. The potentially best player of this team, you know, World Edit, or at least the guy who used to be the best player, you know, given the circumstances of how Counter-Strike is evolving, he was the bottom fragger in this game. So if that's your worst player by rating, if that's your worst fragging player, this Winstrike team is going to be a team to be reckoned with going into the CIS Minor.
Well, we've actually got one of the Winstrike members in Quick talking to Stunner right now, so let's see how he is feeling after that one.
Yep, we're going to see exactly how my friend here in Katowice is feeling. My friend, first and foremost, you guys came in here and really did set the tone. You really did make Runtime feel quite under pressure. Why did it look so easy through the first half?
I don't know. Actually, we did a lot of preparations before the match, and it just went out to our plan, and we just had nothing to think about in the game, just doing our plan, and it all worked out, so calm and easy.
Yes, slow, smooth as fast is exactly what happened here. But you guys were stacked up against some pretty well-known names. I mean, did it surprise you that you guys were able to come in and really set a tone there? Or what are your thoughts on this Runtime roster?
I think the roster is okay. They have a lot of experience, I guess. But nowadays, I think the young mans like Norbert or Firepower is like is really important, and shooting is really like the key to win, I guess. So having only experience doesn't gonna help you out. So I guess the roster is okay, but they need just more time.
Right, more time to kind of put it all together. Well, you do have Avangard now. That's who you're stacked up against. Anything you can tell us, or at least the viewer at home, going into that matchup next?
Actually, we haven't thought about this match yet. We're just one step at a time. So just gonna prepare this 1 hour on the break, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, let's do just that. I'm sure I'll dust on you later, my friend. And, of course, I'm going to head it back over to the desk, and we're going to continue this show and keep it rolling, James.
Keep it rolling indeed. That's certainly what the Winstrike boys will want to do. Very quickly, though, guys, what did you make of what Quick had to say there?
I think he's onto something when he's saying experience doesn't get you far in today's Counter-Strike world. You need some firepower. You need somebody to back that up. Obviously, it's great to have a guy on the team that can share some of his experience, but you don't need a Seized, a Hooch, and a Starix. You know, all three guys with lots of experience, but none of them can shoot the other guys out. You're going to lack firepower, and that's the biggest problem for this team.
Yeah, it's not a MOBA game, right? You still need to shoot heads at the end of the day. And I completely agree with that sentiment. But you know what I'm really looking forward to? I think this Avangard, like, very quietly, this Avangard Winstrike matchup just might be the game of the day, to be very honest. I think it's going to be one barn burner of a game.
Hey, it certainly is, and experience may not be exactly what those teams need. They need to add some firepower to it, but there'll be some more firepower coming your way after this break. When we come back, we will be starting with the best of threes, so don't go anywhere.